Hello, my name is Bodhi Kunminch, and this is my presentation on the Oneida lifestyle. Backstory. So the Oneida community was started up by John Humphrey Noyes, who started this community in 1848. But he actually started the community in 1841 with a group of people that followed the exact same beliefs, but couldn't make the name Oneida or make it an official community until 1848. These characteristics that they had in their community was being a perfectionist, communist group of people who would share everything with one another and be peaceful in their ways of farming and logging. This community would stay away from intimate relationships and consisted of 300 members by the end of its life, which was in 1881. So it was a very long-lasting community, which lasted around 30 years, but it's just pretty good for a utopian community of the sorts. Daily life. The daily life of the Oneida community consisted of men and women working in unison during a time where women were treated with much less respect than men. They were almost equals in this community, and they helped each other with different committees, trading, farming, and more. This is very significant because in the 1800s, the way women were treated was much worse than now, and to see that they were given respect and their time is very interesting to see and very fascinating, which allowed the community to definitely grow and gain more followers. Perfectionism. They believed that they could already live without sin. This is because Noyes originally stated when creating this community that Jesus Christ had already made his second coming to earth. Because of this, he believed that all of his people could live without sin. There were also communists because they believed in a stateless society with no private ownership, and they ran everything by committee. They had around 30 committees, which is an extreme amount for having a community of only around 300 people by the end of it. They did not believe in the idea of having private ownership to anything, so they all owned each other's things, which is an example of communism and splitting everything equally. Complex marriage. They did not allow others to marry one another. Instead, they were all married to each other. This is because one man and one woman were not allowed to marry because they wanted to all marry as a group of people in their community. So everyone was married to each other. There was no sense of ownership between anyone in the community. It could also be seen as a feminist ideology because during the 1800s, women were treated so well for the time that many have seen it as a feminist culture. They had equal status with men because other than domestic duties, they were free to participate in the decision-making of the community and were able to work manual labor as well. The different genders within the community could have sex with one another and chat. However, if any one of them were to get too close, which could maybe cause a romantic relationship, they were to physically separate from one another. This was a very, very difficult issue for the community. It's definitely the most prevalent, and many people saw this as wrong because you can't just take two lovers away from each other. The concept of complex marriage was very unique to them because they made it so two people could not love each other in the way that everyone else saw love, but instead they would love everyone as equals. Male continence. The community believed that sex had two purposes, for pleasure and bonding with another, as well as procreation. They decided as a community to be able to have sex with everyone in the community as long as they all consented. However, they could not ejaculate during intercourse. This was mostly to prevent children from being born in the community. Ascending Fellowship. This was a program that had women teach young men and men teaching young women how to please themselves sexually. It was a very unorthodox way of teaching sex and seen as immoral later. They had women who had entered menopause, so they couldn't have kids anymore, teach these young men about sex. There's definitely many rumors about what they had done, and it's very unorthodox for today. mutual criticism. In order to improve themselves, they would tell each other everything that was wrong with them. They would tell each other their flaws and point out things they need to work on to better improve each and every one of them as people in their community. This was very interesting because to better your community, they're basically telling each and every one of them how to be better people, and that can go more than one way. So this mutual criticism didn't always work, but they stuck with it deeply. And that is my presentation. Thank you.